Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a new Doctor Who discussion video for today. So in this video, I'm going to be doing the discussion of the regeneration of the Doctor. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about from the first Doctor all the way down to the 12th Doctor's regeneration. So basically from the 10th planet down to Twice Upon a Time. Now there's going to be two entries for the Twice Upon a Time in this video I'm going to talk about. So with Jodie's regeneration basically just around the corner till we say hello to the 14th Doctor and a goodbye to the 13th Doctor, I thought I'd take it back and talk about each regeneration of the Doctor really, and what are my favourite regenerations and everything. So I thought, why not talk about them from the beginning and then get to what is my favourite regeneration out of all of them so far. So talking about the first to the second Doctor, there are two entries I've put here, which is the 10th planet and of course Twice Upon a Time. Now the first Doctor, we basically see the regeneration of the first Doctor kind of twice, well, three times really, because we see it in live action with David Bradley. We've got like some clips surviving of episode 4 of the 10th planet, which is the regeneration, and we also have it in animation in the 10th planet's animation, and of course the Power of the Daleks animation where they restart from the for the regeneration. Now, the first Doctor's regeneration story is basically a full circle, because after he defeats the Sandman, his body is wearing out because he's dying of old age. When he's actually refusing to regenerate, he bumps into his 12th incarnation, who's also refusing to regenerate. So these two Doctors have got to spend a bit of time together, saying, "Oh, I don't want to regenerate, but if you don't regenerate, all the things that you're supposed to do will never happen." So I really do enjoy Twice Upon a Time. But the first Doctor's regeneration, I kind of like the way they did it for back in the early 60s, really, where you kind of got like William Hartnell's face, and then you got this bright light coming up, and then you see it kind of like getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and then you do see the face like morph a bit into Patrick Troughton's face. So I do really think that regeneration, even though it's the first regeneration, the effects for it is pretty bad, but it's still a regeneration, and I kind of enjoy it for what it is, to be honest with you. So that's the first Doctor. Second Doctor is now second to the third Doctor, which is from the War Games, and basically I've added a little bit of Spearhead from space into this one as well. I absolutely love it. So the Doctor is put on trial by the Time Lords for meddling in other people's and planets' affairs, which basically is what the Doctor does. He never really stops. I mean, not even into the new series, the Doctor still meddles. And I kind of like the way this Doctor argues with the Time Lords. Patrick Troughton is amazing at the times. "You can't change what I look like without consulting me. Here's your first choice. Oh, he's too old. Oh, he's too fat, ain't he? No, he's too thin. That one's too young. Oh, no one do at all. This is ridiculous. I haven't seen such an incredible bunch. You're wasting time, Doctor. If you're not making the decision will... Blah, blah, blah. I never said that. But I have to demand what I look like. It's very important in the Earth. People in the Earth are... Oh, what's happening?" I do like the way he goes, "Oh, sorry, what's happening? The time has come for you to change your appearance, Doctor, and to begin your exile." I love the fact you got like Troughton, and then you got like 5 different other faces of Troughton, and they're like circling around each other. And then you kind of have no head for the second Doctor, really. Just say, "Stop, you're making me giddy. No, you can't do this to me. No, 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 no." And then, of course, we kind of see the TARDIS materialising in Spare from Space. And the third Doctor basically falls out wearing Troughton's costume. I really do enjoy this regeneration. Not only is it the only one that we see with no actual act, like the next actor taking the place after the next Doctor, after the previous Doctor, sorry, but it's kind of done in a very creepy way, and it's done absolutely brilliant. I love the War Games, this regeneration. Now, Planet of the Spiders. Why the Doctor is basically having a great finale. I mean, having a kind of a car chase, big giant spiders, the Metabilis crystals going to Metabilis 3, getting radiation poisoning from the Metabilis crystals after the big giant spider insists on having it, and the Doctor's there going, "No, it will destroy you. I must have it." And then the crystal goes up, and basically the Doctor gets radiation poisoning. But he does make it back to his TARDIS in time and takes off, and then gets a little bit lost in the time vortex. Materialises back in the unit lab 3 weeks later, and he does go, "I got lost in the time vortex." I love his last speech to Sarah Jane. He goes, "A tear, Sarah Jane? No, don't cry. Don't cry. While there's life, there's like that. And I do like the way how Pertwee just basically does that acting so brilliant and everything else. I really do enjoy playing. And the way they did it back then as well in 1974 with the whole regeneration effects, where you kind of got like Pertwee and then you kind of got it morphing into Tom Baker. I like the Brigadiers line. Well, here we go again. Do 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 do. I really do enjoy Spare Headphones. I really do enjoy Planet of the Spiders. It's a great regeneration story, I have to say. The 4th to the 5th Doctor. Now, this one for me was the very first time I actually ever saw a regeneration of the Doctor. Now, growing up, I watched a lot of Tom Baker's. I never really watched a lot of the other Doctors. The only Doctor I watched a lot with my dad was Tom Baker's kind of era. Because at one point, my dad had all of Tom Baker's on VHS at one point, growing up. And I remember watching every single one of Tom Baker with my dad. Because Tom Baker was the first Doctor I ever actually proper watched. I watched like 2 stories with John Pertwee, one with my dad, which was Death of the Dykes, and then I watched one with my granddad, which is the Claws of Axos, and then the rest of it, I've just mainly watched a lot of Tom Baker growing up, and then I slowly moved, when I came like 5 or 6, I started to move on to the other Doctors. I was about 9 years old when Doctor Who came back with Christopher Eccleston, so bear that in mind. I was growing up with the series, and I was watching a lot of Tom Baker. And this was the first time I actually saw a regeneration, and I kind of loved it. Because you got the Doctor saving the universe from what the Master did on Logopolis. He's trying to save the universe. He climbs up the radio transmission. He pulls out the Master's recording. And he falls to his death. Even though you do have like quite a lot of faces of the Doctor's villains, like a Dalek, Davros, Cybermen, Saigons, the Santoran, and of course the Black Guardian going, Doctor, you shall die for this. I really do enjoy when Tom Baker falls down to the ground. I love the Blu-ray effect for it in season 18. Where are you? Season 18. I love the first one, season 18. They've like kind of updated it for season 18, and I do like the way you got that good camera angle where you see the Doctor's body falling down to the ground. And then he's having his wonderful last line, and it's a lot better than David Tennant. I mean, David Tennant should just go, I don't want to go. Tom Baker, it's the end. The moment has been prepared for. I just absolutely love that line. And when you see the Watcher walk into the Doctor's body and trigger off the regeneration, because it literally starts like Tom morphing into the Watcher, then the Watcher getting brighter and brighter, and then Davis's face starting to come through the Watchers, and then it's the 5th Doctor. I absolutely do love that regeneration. Tom Baker's Doctor is the first regeneration I ever saw, and I first saw this one, and I have to admit, I did actually cry a little bit, because Tom Baker was my favourite Doctor. In fact, he still is. And that was the very first time I actually saw a regeneration of the Doctor. I had no idea what was going on. Really do enjoy that one. So, jumping into the next Doctor now, from the 5th to the 6th Doctor. So, the Doctor and Peri land on Androsana Minor during the middle of a drugs war for spectrotoxemia. Now, unfortunately, Peri and the Doctor does get infected during the story, and the Doctor is trying to get Peri out of what's basically going on during this drug war. And then, of course, with them two being infected by spectrotoxemia themselves, the Doctor gives Peri the only cure, which is bat's milk, and he saves Peri's life, sacrificing his own life, really. And I do enjoy his final line and moments. I love that bit when he's on the TARDIS console, and he literally gives Peri the bat's milk, and he goes, "Is this death?" And I love his final lines, where she goes, "Doctor, you can't leave me now." He goes, "I might regenerate. I don't know. Feels different this time." I love the fact we've got like Tegan's face, Tarlo's face, Chameleon's face, Nissa's face, and Adric's face, all of his companions. And I love the fact we've got the Master, Anthony Ainley, coming into it going, "No, my dear Doctor, you must die. Die, Doctor. Die, Doctor." I really do love the way they've done that effect and stuff. The Jeff should have come up for it by now. I do like the fact we got Colin Bacon. I love his first lines. "Doctor, you're expecting someone else? That's 3 eyes and 1 breath, either to stick with you, young lady. What happened? Change, my dear. And it seems not a moment too soon." Psh! I really do enjoy that story. Cage of Androsani. I do love the regeneration effect. The 6th Doctor now. Very complicated, because Big Finish has touched us up a little bit, but I'm not really going to talk about the Big Finish stuff in case nobody has listened to it, and I need to re-listen to it again, really, because I haven't listened to it for a long time, and I kind of forgot the way how the 6th Doctor goes off to regenerates. But going by Time and Irani, it looks like the 6th Doctor is in the middle of the regeneration process. Because when the Irani walks in and with the tetrape and it turns the Doctor over, he literally turns over and the face is just morphing from Colin Baker's face to Sylvester McCoy's, even though it's just Sylvester McCoy in a wig. I love the Blu-ray effect for it for season 24 because they absolutely have touched it up brilliantly, and I love the fact in the, not the first disc, the second disc, I think it's the special edition version where you kind of got a bit like Colin Baker's face and you see it like proper morphing into Sylvester McCoy. Absolutely fantastic stuff, and I do enjoy that. So, jumping into the next Doctor now, which is the 7th Doctor to the 8th Doctor's Regeneration. So, after the Doctors basically picked up the Master's remains on Skara after being exterminated by the Daleks, a little bit of the essence of the Master has survived. Making the TARDIS crash land on Earth 1999 in San Francisco, the 7th Doctor basically goes and gets shot by a street gang. So, and then of course he gets taken to hospital. They think they're trying to save his life. He goes, I am not human. I am not like you. And then of course they end up killing him during the absolutely operation. And then the Doctor wakes up screaming, going, ah! And then he collapses back down. So basically they all think the Doctor's dead and stuff. And during anyway, when they put him into the post-morgue and stuff, and they lock him into this container, the regeneration happens, and it's a very good effect. I like the fact they've done what Troughton did, because when you see Troughton's regeneration, when he like does the face, he goes like that, and you kind of see Sylvester McCoy and Paul McGann doing exactly the same face, and the way they change into each other is absolutely fantastic. And I do love that regeneration. 8th Doctor to the War Doctor. What can I say about this one? Because we don't really, it's good to see an actual proper regeneration, but we don't really see the face morph. We just have 1 minute with Paul McGann, like, hands glowing and his face going, he literally goes and going, ah, like that. And then you just hear John Hurt's voice saying, Doctor no more. But I do kind of like the way he regenerates, because he's gone to save this woman, Cass, from crash landing. She's like, you're a Time Lord. And he goes, I promise you I'm not part of the war. I never was. And then carry on, he goes, and look on the bright side, I'm not a Dalek. He goes, who gets on the difference anymore? She goes, go back to your battlefield. And I do like the way she like tells that. And the Doctor, and I like the fact though, like the sister Doctor can't bring the 8th Doctor back to life. And he literally says, make me a warrior now. And then just before he drinks the potion to make him regenerate, he literally mentions all of his companions from Big Finish, like Lucy, Charlie, Molly. I think there's somebody else as well, I can't remember. But the way he mentions them as well, it just really brings in the Big Finish into canon, really. And I really do enjoy the way that is done. So anyway, the War to the 9th Doctor from, of course, the Day of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary. Very, very different, really. Because we actually don't kind of see the regeneration. We do see John Hurt morphing into Heckleson around the eyes a bit, and then it kind of cuts off. The reason this Doctor basically regenerated is because, like the first Doctor, his body is wearing a bit thin. Because when you see him in the TARDIS console, he literally stirs his hands and goes, oh, of course, it makes sense. Wearing a bit thin. I do hope the ears were a bit less separate this time. And he goes off to regenerate into Christopher Eccleston, and you do see him morph and stuff. So basically, he just morphs. It's a kind of a good regeneration, which I do enjoy, I have to say. It's not one of my favourites, but it's still pretty much of a good regeneration. I just would have loved to see Eccleston come and do the proper main regeneration into his Doctor. So that's 8 to... Sorry, that's first to the War. So, 9th to the 10th Doctor. I kind of do like this one. Rose has absorbed the Time Vortex. She uses it to burn the whole Dalek fleet, including the Emperor Dalek, and then just basically the Doctor saves her life by kissing her, taking the Time Vortex out of her, putting it back into the TARDIS, which still's inside him because it's killing every single cell of his body, which basically makes him regenerate. Now, this is the first time Rose actually kills a Doctor by doing something stupid. Absolutely stupid, because Rose causes 2 deaths to 2 different Doctors. She makes the 9th Doctor regenerate into the 10th Doctor, and she makes the 10th Doctor regenerate into the 10th Doctor as well. But I talk about that one in a little bit, which is one of the reasons why I don't really specifically like Rose that much. I like her with Eccleston's Doctor a lot more than Tennant's Doctor, I have to say. I do love his final lines. You are absolutely fantastic, and you know what? So was I. And now, for the very first time, this effect is amazing for its time. When he literally leans back, bends over, regenerates, like standing up, and then Tennant's hair starts coming up first. He goes, hello, okay, new teeth, that's weird. So where was I? Oh, that's right, Barcelona. I just do like this regeneration effect. I do like all the regeneration effects, really. I have got my all-time favourite regeneration effect, but I'll talk about that one after I talk about all the others. So, yeah. 10th Doctor to 10th Doctor, The Stolen Earth / Journey's End. Now, this is where Rose basically just kills the 10th Doctor, really, because one minute he's talking to Donna, then he sees Rose, his face drops, he's running to Rose, she's running to the Doctor with a big giant gun, a Dalek comes out of nowhere and shoots the 10th Doctor. Now, if he was not running to Rose and not paying attention, if he was paying attention, he would have seen that Dalek. But no, because he was too busy concentrating on Rose, he got shot on the spot by a Dalek. Great. Rose, you basically killed two versions of two different Doctors, and people still like you, and I don't know why. But I really don't. I mean, you caused the 9th Doctor's regeneration by absorbing the time vortex. The 10th Doctor's too busy running towards you. He doesn't even see a Dalek, and it just shoots him on the spot. It's like, Rose, you're becoming my least favourite companion. Very, very quickly, yeah. I used to like her growing up, and now she's literally one of my least favourite companions. I prefer her with Eccleston's Doctor from Series 1. I do prefer her a little bit with Eccleston's Doctor, but then I do with Tennant. I really think I don't really like her with Tennant that much, but I prefer her with Eccleston. I really wish she would have left after Series 1. So I really do enjoy... I do like the way this regeneration happens, because after he gets shot by the TARDIS, you got Jack, Donna, and Rose carrying him into the TARDIS, and he goes, Rose, he's dying, and what happens next? And he goes, like that, and he goes, it started. And then, of course, he goes, it's too late. I'm regenerating. That would have been a good final line for the end of time. And he literally and puts his all his spare energy into their hands. And this does count as a regeneration thanks to Stephen Moffat. 10th to the 11th Doctor now in the, as I was going to say, the end of time. I pretty much do enjoy this regeneration. I got some little issues with it, like that final line. I don't want to go. Grow up, you big giant wuss. I really don't like the way that line is. I love the regeneration effect when it's just exploding and stuff. And now the course of the 10th Doctor, this version of the 10th Doctor's basic regeneration, is 12th incarnation, really. Is because he goes and saves Donna's granddad, Wilfred, from radiation poisoning. So he absorbs the radiation, so instead of having Wilfred to die. And basically, because he's got radiation poison, and he holds it back for quite a lot of the regeneration. So when it does come to his time, he literally explodes the TARDIS up and everything. Which is kind of a good effect. I just really don't like his line. I don't want to go. Shut up, you wuss, Doctor. I really just don't like that line. I really think Tennant deserved a better line and a better send-off, really. So, jumping into the 11th Doctor to the 12th Doctor, in, of course, the time of the Doctor. So, why are you going to investigate an important message that is being sent by the Time Lords as a trap with a true field? And the 11th Doctor really has got to stop on Trenzalore, defend the planet. He sends Clara back in the TARDIS, but the TARDIS basically takes 300 years for her to come back because she's carrying Clara all through the time vortex and stuff. So I do like the way the Doctor gets an extra regeneration cycle, which is basically relevant now because of the Timeless Children's story arc. Chidnall, you've really ruined this story arc for me. Really have. Because if he's the Timeless Child, there was no need for the extra regenerations coming through the crack in the universe, going into him and giving him a whole new regeneration cycle. I used to love this episode until the Timeless Children's story arc. And it just really makes this so obsolete right now. But I do like the big regeneration effect, where it takes out the Dalek fleet and he's big on the church and he literally blows the top of the church off. I love the fact that you also have a younger version, that he goes back to reboot to a younger version, says his final goodbyes to Clara, and then, of course, by a snap of the finger, he regenerates into Peter Capaldi. I really do like that, and he goes like that. He goes, kidneys! I got new kidneys. I don't like the colour of your kidneys. I really do enjoy that regeneration. I love the fact it's like a little snap of the fingers, and it's like going like that. I really do enjoy it. The 12th Doctor to the 13th Doctor. Now, as I've already talked about this one, because this is where the 12th Doctor meets the 1st Doctor, and they both kind of go separating as well. I do like Peter Capaldi's final lines. It's a lot better than Matt Smith's, and of course 100% better than David Tennant's final lines. I love the whole speech where he goes, "Don't eat pears. Remember, love is always wise. Hate is foolish." I really do enjoy that speech. With the Shepherd's Boy theme playing as well. I do love the regeneration effect as well. Now, because this is another Doctor that basically got shot by a Cyberman twice, he ended up blowing the deck of a spaceship in the Doctor Falls, has an adventure with his first incarnation. So basically, he's held off a lot of regeneration energy, and because he's holding in so much, the regeneration energy just bursts out of him. And it's a good effect, really, when you just see the TARDIS, like, taking another blowing to the regeneration energy. And then, of course, Jodie's Doctor comes and she presses a button and the TARDIS just blows up. It's like, nice one. The 13th Doctor's just been on the screen for 1 minute and she goes and blows up the Capaldi TARDIS. So that's all of the regenerations, a bit of information about them and stuff. So if I was going to say what's my favourite regeneration effect, it's definitely got to be the 5th to 6th Doctor's case for Androzani, because I really do love that. I love the fact you got the companion faces flying around. I love the bit where you got the lines and you go like that. I really do enjoy it. So let me know in the comments what you think of the regenerations. What is your favourite regeneration of the Doctor? Let me know in the comments, and let me know how do you think Jodie's Doctor will bail out, because I really think she's going to end up fighting the Master, which basically means the Master causes another regeneration of the Doctor, since he's the cause of the 4th Doctors, the 7th Doctors, technically the 7th Doctors, the 10th Doctors, and of course the 12th Doctors. So I do basically blame the Master for causing quite a few of the regenerations. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like, subscribe and share, and join me for more Doctor Who awesomeness content. Have a great day.